Have you ever enjoyed a big slice of watermelon on a hot summer day, only to feel a little off afterward? Maybe your stomach felt bloated, or you noticed some discomfort that made you wonder if something else in your meal didn't agree with it. If you've ever experienced this, I want you to know you're not alone. Many people love watermelon. It's refreshing, hydrating, and packed with nutrients. But pairing it with the wrong foods can lead to digestive issues, or even rob you of its health benefits. Here's the thing. What you eat alongside watermelon matters more than you might think. Studies show that certain food combinations can interfere with digestion, nutrient absorption, and even blood sugar levels. For example, research published in the Journal of Nutrition highlights how combining high-sugar fruits like watermelon with specific types of foods can cause spikes in blood sugar, which is especially important for seniors managing conditions like diabetes or insulin resistance. In today's video, we're going to explore the top 4 foods you should avoid eating with watermelon. And trust me, you'll want to stick around until the end, because the last one might surprise you. Not only will we uncover why these pairings can be problematic, but I'll also share simple swaps and tips to help you enjoy watermelon without any unwanted side effects. Before we begin, I want to make one thing clear. This video is for informational purposes only and is based on publicly available research. Everyone's health is different, so always consult your doctor or a qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your lifestyle, diet, or exercise routine. Scientific knowledge is always evolving, and what works for one person may not work for another. Now, let's dive into the first food combination you'll want to steer clear of when enjoying watermelon. One of the most common mistakes people make is pairing watermelon with heavy, high-fat meals. Think about it. How often have you had a slice of watermelon after a barbecue loaded with fried chicken, burgers, or creamy sides? While those foods might taste great together, they don't play well in your digestive system. Here's why. Watermelon is mostly water and natural sugars, which means it digests quickly. On the other hand, high-fat foods take much longer to break down. When you combine them, the watermelon sits in your stomach waiting for the heavier food to digest, leading to fermentation in your gut. This can cause bloating, gas, and general discomfort. A study from the American Journal of Gastroenterology suggests that poor food pairing is a common culprit behind digestive distress, particularly as we age and our digestive systems become less efficient. Let me share a quick story with you. A friend of mine named Margaret used to love ending her summer cookouts with a big bowl of watermelon, but she started noticing that she'd feel bloated and sluggish afterward. Once she learned about how watermelon interacts with fatty foods, she decided to space out her meals, eating watermelon as a standalone snack an hour or 2 before or after her main meal. She told me it made a world of difference, and now she enjoys her favorite fruit without any trouble. So what's the takeaway here? If you're planning to enjoy watermelon, try to avoid pairing it with heavy, greasy, or overly fatty foods. Instead, savor it on its own or pair it with lighter options like fresh greens or cucumbers. Your stomach will thank you. Now that we've covered the impact of high-fat foods, let's move on to another combination that many people overlook. One that could affect your blood sugar levels and leave you feeling less energized than you'd like. Let's talk about why you should be cautious about eating watermelon with refined carbohydrates. Now that we've covered the impact of pairing watermelon with high-fat foods, let's move on to another combination that many people overlook. One that could affect your blood sugar levels and leave you feeling less energized than you'd like. Let's talk about why you should be cautious about eating watermelon with refined carbohydrates. Watermelon is naturally sweet and contains a fair amount of natural sugars, which makes it delicious but also means it has a relatively high glycemic index. For those who may not be familiar with the term, the glycemic index measures how quickly a food raises your blood sugar levels. While watermelon's overall carbohydrate content is low, its glycemic load can still add up if you eat large portions or pair it with other high glycemic foods like white bread, pastries, or sugary snacks. Here's where it gets tricky. When you combine watermelon with refined carbs, say a slice of watermelon with a bagel or a donut, you create a double whammy for your blood sugar. Both foods are digested quickly, causing a rapid spike in glucose levels followed by a crash. This roller coaster effect can leave you feeling tired, irritable, and even hungrier than before. A study published in Diabetes Care found that frequent spikes in blood sugar are linked to increased insulin resistance over time, which is something many seniors are already working hard to manage. Let me share an example. I once met a woman named Linda who loved having watermelon slices alongside her morning toast and jam. She noticed that she'd feel a burst of energy initially, but within an hour, she'd crash and feel sluggish. After consulting with a nutritionist, she realized that the combination of watermelon and refined carbs was likely contributing to her energy fluctuations. Once she switched to whole grain toast topped with avocado or nut butter instead, she noticed a steadier level of energy throughout the day. It was such a simple change, but it made a noticeable difference in how she felt. Now, some of you might be thinking, what if I just eat smaller portions? That's a great question, and portion control does help. However, it's still wise to be mindful of what you're pairing with watermelon, especially if you're managing conditions like diabetes or prediabetes. Instead of refined carbs, consider pairing watermelon with protein-rich foods like Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or a handful of nuts. These options slow down digestion and help stabilize your blood sugar, keeping you fuller longer and preventing those unwanted crashes. Speaking of stabilizing blood sugar, let's shift gears slightly and address another common mistake: pairing watermelon with dairy products, particularly full-fat varieties like ice cream or heavy cream. Many people love blending watermelon into smoothies or enjoying it as part of a dessert with whipped cream or custard. But this combination can spell trouble for your digestive system. The issue here lies in the temperature contrast and fat content. Watermelon is cool, hydrating, and digests quickly, while dairy products, especially rich ones, are heavier and take longer to break down. When combined, they can lead to indigestion, bloating, or even diarrhea in some cases. Research from the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition highlights that mixing cold fruits with dairy can disrupt gut motility, particularly in individuals with sensitive stomachs, a condition that becomes more common as we age. Let me give you another real-life example. A gentleman named Robert used to love making fruit salads with watermelon and a dollop of sour cream, a recipe he picked up from his childhood. Over time, he started noticing stomach cramps and discomfort after these meals. Once he swapped the sour cream for a lighter option like coconut yogurt or simply enjoyed the watermelon plain, his symptoms improved dramatically. Sometimes, small adjustments can make all the difference. Before we move on, let's recap why avoiding these combinations matters. Pairing watermelon with fatty foods, refined carbs, or dairy doesn't just lead to temporary discomfort. It can also interfere with your long-term health goals. Whether it's managing blood sugar, supporting digestion, or simply feeling more energetic, being mindful of what you eat alongside watermelon can have a big impact. Now, let's talk about overcoming challenges. I know that changing eating habits isn't always easy, especially if you've grown accustomed to certain food pairings over the years. But here's the truth: small, consistent changes add up over time. If giving up your favorite pairings feels overwhelming, try starting with one meal at a time. For instance, enjoy watermelon as a standalone snack mid-morning, or blend it into a smoothie with spinach and almond milk instead of yogurt. These tweaks might seem minor, but they can make a world of difference in how you feel. And remember, staying socially engaged and connected to others can play a big role in motivating you to take care of yourself. Sharing healthy recipes or meal ideas with friends or family members can inspire you to stick with better choices. So whether it's hosting a summer picnic featuring watermelon paired with fresh mint and lime, or swapping tips with a neighbor, nurturing your relationships can reinforce your commitment to healthier habits. Now that we've discussed watermelon's interactions with fats, refined carbs, and dairy, let's move on to one final combination that many people don't realize can cause problems. This next point might surprise you, but trust me, it's worth paying attention to. Let's talk about why you should avoid eating watermelon with alcohol. Now that we've covered watermelon's interactions with fats, refined carbs, and dairy, let's move on to one final combination that many people don't realize can cause problems: alcohol. Yes, you heard me right. While it might seem refreshing to enjoy a slice of watermelon alongside a glass of wine or a cocktail during summer gatherings, this pairing can actually lead to some unintended consequences, especially for seniors. Here's why. Watermelon is hydrating and contains natural sugars, but alcohol has the opposite effect. It dehydrates your body. When you combine the two, watermelon's hydrating benefits are essentially canceled out by alcohol's diuretic properties. This can leave you feeling more dehydrated than before, which is particularly risky as we age because our bodies naturally lose water retention capacity over time. Dehydration can lead to fatigue, dizziness, and even confusion in severe cases. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition, Health and Aging highlights that dehydration is a common yet often overlooked issue among older adults, contributing to a host of health complications. But here's something else to consider. Watermelon contains citrulline, an amino acid that helps relax blood vessels and improve circulation. While this is generally a good thing, alcohol can amplify its effects, potentially leading to lightheadedness or low blood pressure when consumed together. I'll share a quick story with you. A man named John once told me he loved enjoying watermelon margaritas at family barbecues. However, he started noticing that he'd feel unusually dizzy and tired afterward. Once he stopped mixing watermelon with alcohol and instead paired it with hydrating beverages like infused water or herbal tea, he felt much better. It was such a simple swap, but it made all the difference in how he enjoyed his meals. Now, some of you might be wondering, what if I just drink plenty of water alongside my cocktail? That's a great start, but it still doesn't fully counteract the dehydrating effects of alcohol. Instead, try enjoying watermelon earlier in the day, well before any alcoholic drinks, or skip the pairing altogether. If you're hosting a gathering, consider serving watermelon-based mocktails with sparkling water and fresh herbs like mint or basil. They're delicious, hydrating, and safe for everyone to enjoy. Let's talk about overcoming challenges for a moment. Changing eating habits isn't always easy, especially when food traditions or social settings are involved. You might be thinking, I've been eating watermelon with these foods my whole life. Why should I change now? The key is understanding that small adjustments can lead to big improvements in how you feel. For example, instead of giving up your favorite combinations entirely, experiment with alternatives. Swap heavy cream for coconut milk, replace white bread with whole grain options, or alternate between alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages during meals. These small changes can add up over time, helping you feel lighter, healthier, and more energized. I want to emphasize another important aspect of aging well: staying proactive about your health. Many seniors assume that digestive discomfort or energy crashes are just part of getting older, but they don't have to be. By being mindful of what you eat and how different foods interact, you can take charge of your well-being and maintain your independence longer. Research from Johns Hopkins University suggests that adopting mindful eating practices, even later in life, can significantly improve quality of life and reduce the risk of chronic diseases. Now let's shift focus to mindset and emotional well-being. Many people assume that making dietary changes means sacrificing enjoyment or missing out on their favorite foods. But here's the truth. Healthy eating doesn't mean deprivation. It means finding balance and discovering new ways to enjoy the foods you love. For instance, instead of skipping watermelon altogether, learn how to incorporate it into your diet in ways that work best for your body. Maybe it's savoring it as a standalone snack, blending it into a smoothie with spinach and chia seeds, or tossing it into a salad with arugula and feta. Just go easy on the cheese. And remember, staying socially engaged plays a huge role in maintaining motivation. Studies show that seniors who cook or share meals with others tend to eat healthier and feel happier overall. So whether it's inviting friends over for a watermelon-themed lunch or joining a community cooking class, nurturing your relationships can inspire you to prioritize your health without feeling isolated. Now that we've explored the top 4 foods to avoid pairing with watermelon and why each one matters, let's wrap things up with some final words of motivation and a simple challenge you can start today. Because at the end of the day, aging doesn't mean losing control of your health. It means taking charge of it in smarter, more intentional ways. Now that we've explored why you should steer clear of pairing watermelon with high-fat foods, refined carbs, dairy, and alcohol, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. These 4 combinations might seem harmless at first glance, or even delicious, but they can lead to discomfort, energy crashes, dehydration, or other issues that affect your overall well-being. The good news is that making small adjustments to how and when you enjoy watermelon can make all the difference in how you feel. Let's recap why these pairings matter so much. Eating watermelon with fatty foods like fried chicken or creamy sauces slows down digestion and can cause bloating. Combining it with refined carbs, think bagels, pastries, or sugary snacks, can spike your blood sugar levels, leaving you tired and irritable shortly after. Pairing it with full-fat dairy products may disrupt your gut and lead to indigestion, while mixing it with alcohol cancels out its hydrating benefits and increases the risk of dehydration. By avoiding these combinations, you're not just preventing discomfort, you're supporting better digestion, stable energy levels, and long-term health. But here's the thing, knowledge is only powerful when it's put into action. You don't need to overhaul your entire diet overnight. Start small. Maybe it's swapping white bread for whole grain toast when you have watermelon on the side, or replacing heavy cream with coconut yogurt in your fruit salad. Over time, these little changes add up, creating habits that support your well-being in meaningful ways. Experts agree that consistency is key when it comes to mindful eating practices. Even one thoughtful swap per meal can make a noticeable difference in how you feel day to day. I want to leave you with a story that illustrates just how transformative small habits can be. A woman named Evelyn once told me she decided to pay closer attention to her food pairings after years of ignoring how certain meals made her feel sluggish. She started by focusing on one area at a time, first cutting back on sugary snacks with watermelon, then experimenting with lighter alternatives to dairy. Within weeks, she noticed she had more energy, fewer digestive issues, and an overall sense of lightness she hadn't felt in years. She said to me, "It wasn't about perfection, it was about progress." I realized that taking care of myself didn't have to be overwhelming, it just had to be consistent. Now, some of you might still be thinking, what if I slip up or forget? That's okay. Life happens, and no one expects you to be perfect. The goal isn't perfection, it's improvement. If you accidentally pair watermelon with something you shouldn't, simply note how your body reacts and use it as a learning experience for next time. And don't hesitate to enlist the help of loved ones or caregivers if you need support. Remember, you're never alone in this journey. Let's talk about mindset for a moment. As we age, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking, "It's too late for me to make a difference." But science shows us that it's never too late to start making healthier choices. A study published in The Lancet found that adopting even one new healthy habit later in life, like being mindful of food combinations, can significantly increase lifespan and enhance quality of life. So whether you're 60, 70, 80, or beyond, every positive step you take matters. Another important aspect of aging well is staying socially engaged. Did you know that loneliness can have a profound impact on both mental and physical health? Studies suggest that maintaining strong social connections reduces the risk of depression, anxiety, and even chronic diseases. While we've been talking about watermelon today, don't forget to nourish your relationships too. Share these tips with a friend or family member, or invite someone over for a summer picnic featuring watermelon paired with fresh mint and lime. These moments of connection are just as vital as the habits themselves. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these food pairings surprised you the most? Are there any changes you're excited to try first? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one, and your thoughts might inspire others who are looking for ideas. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more tips on healthy aging. Sharing this video with a loved one could also be a wonderful way to spread the message of vitality and self-care. Finally, I want to remind you of something important. Aging doesn't mean losing control of your health. It means taking charge of it in smarter, more intentional ways. Every day is a new opportunity to nourish your body, nurture your mind, and connect with the people and activities that bring you joy. Whether it's through mindful eating, staying active, or simply smiling at someone you love, you have the power to shape your own journey. So here's to living your best life at any age, and to embracing the small, meaningful steps that lead to big results. Thank you for spending this time with me. Until next time, take care, stay curious, and remember, small actions lead to lasting change. Here's to your health.